everyone! Today we're going to be going over my spring TBR. So I've mentioned this in a previous video that I will be doing monthly wrap-ups in the future, but I'm still going to be doing seasonal TBRs because I just read so many books in a season that I didn't plan for in the TBR. I just like having some guidelines, I guess, of what to read, but not having a strict schedule of what to read, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's just jump into the books. So all the books on my TBR are books that I currently own because I have a lot of unread contemporaries, and I think that spring and summer are the best time for contemporaries. So I just want to really get to those contemporaries that I have and kind of tackle all of those books that I haven't read yet that are on my shelves. With that being said, any of the contemporary books on my shelves I do have in the back of my mind of I really need to get to those in the spring and the summer, but these are the main ones that I really hope to get to in the coming months. So first we're going to start out with a book that isn't a contemporary, even though I just gave the whole contemporary spiel. But that book is Betwixt by Tara Bray Smith. I started this book many years ago. I think I was in 6th grade or something, and it's a chunky book, and I think that's part of the reason why I didn't finish it, but I was really lost by it. From what I remember, it's sort of like a magical realism, and there's some sort of drug abuse, and they go to this party thing, and there's some crazy things that happen. Honestly, I don't remember much. I just remember it being a wild ride and feeling very like a fever dream. And all it says on the inside is that there's a secret summer rave that they go to. That's all I know about it. That's all I can remember, and I really want to reread it and see what I was missing out on by not finishing it the first time, and if I can make some sense of what the heck is happening in this book. I think the reason why I didn't understand it the first time was because I was just too young to understand it, so I'm hoping to actually understand it this time around. And actually, I'm really looking forward to it because I think every time I think about this book, it's wow, that was such a missed opportunity for me. I should have just finished it when I had started it the first time. I just feel like I missed out because I didn't finish it the first time. So that's why I wanted to hopefully pick this one up. Next, I'm hoping to get to Thin by Grace Bowman. This is a memoir of a girl who has anorexia, and if you haven't been on this channel for a while, you would know that I love books about eating disorders. I think eating disorders are very interesting, and I'm not trying to be offensive in any way about my interest in them. I just think that there are some interesting things that come along with having an eating disorder, like the different side effects and symptoms and warning signs and that kind of thing. And so I like reading books about them. My favorite book, Winter Girls, is about eating disorders. I recently purchased this one and one other book that we'll get to. I'm excited to get to it because I'm excited to have more eating disorder content. Like I said, all I really know about it is that it is a memoir about anorexia. That's all I need to know. Like I said, I love eating disorders, so I don't really need much more than that. The other book that I purchased recently is Never Enough by Denise Jayden. This again is also about eating disorders. It actually doesn't say what she has, so I'm assuming it's probably anorexia now that I think about it, but it could be bulimia. I don't know, but it's an eating disorder, so either way, I'm fine with it. And I also talked about this one in my recent book haul, which I'll link above, but look how beautiful this cover is. It's so picturesque, and I really love the out of focus trees that are in the background of the books, and I really like this light green spine. I just think it looks really pretty on my shelf, so I'm really excited to get to this one as well. The next book on my TBR I don't actually have here with me because it's at my dorm, but I will have it here eventually whenever I go back to my dorm to get my things. But that book is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I don't really know much about this book. It's just a summary read. I don't know what happens in this book, and I don't have the back of the book here to read. I could Google it, but I'm not going to because that's work. I've had this book since last summer, and I haven't read it yet. I know Morgan Matson writes really good contemporaries, and I haven't read any of them yet, so I want to try one out, and I just haven't read it yet, so I'm hoping to get to it soon. And the next book I want to read is Prom by Laurie Halse Anderson. I mostly want to read this book because it's by Laurie Halse Anderson, who's the author of my favorite book, Winter Girls. From what I've gathered from the synopsis, it's about a girl who's not really into prom, but when one of the faculty at her school takes all of the money that they raised for prom, she has to kind of put together a prom having no money and no budget or anything like that. And that just sounds like a wild ride, and it sounds super fun, and I'm kind of excited to like take me back to my high school years, which like I know I just graduated like a year ago, but like I kind of miss it. And unfortunately, with the whole state of the world right now and the virus that's going around, I think that my high school isn't going to be having a prom this year because they are going to be practicing social distancing, and I think they're actually doing all their classes online for the rest of the semester. And so I think it's a good time to read this book because, I mean, I wasn't going to go to prom anyway, but it kind of makes up for the fact that a lot of my friends who are still in high school don't get their prom. And it just correlates well with my life at this point. Also, it's a pretty short book, so like it'll be super easy to get through. And yeah, and I really like Laurie Halse Anderson and her writing, so I think it'll be a breeze for me to fly through, and I'll have no problems with it. So the next book on my list, or rather books, because this is more of a broader like term, is any of the unread Sarah Dessen books that I own. I think there may be one more at my dorm that I haven't read as well, maybe one or two. So yeah, as you can see, I have 4 here, and then possibly 1 or 2 more at my dorm that I haven't read, and I'm mad about that. The fact that I haven't read them yet is terrible. If you don't know about Sarah Dessen, she is a very popular contemporary writer, and she just writes really like fluffy, summery contemporaries, and I really enjoy her books. One of my favorite books of all time that I talked about recently in a video is Dreamland. That book is at my dorm, so I can't show it to you. I actually want to reread that book as well, so maybe that will be one of the books that I read in the coming months. But I also, again, have a lot of books by her that I haven't read yet. And the reason why I have so many is because every time I go to, like, Goodwill or any, like, book sales or whatever, like, secondhand book sales, I just grab Sarah Dessen books if I find them because they're cheap and I like her writing, so I know I'll like them. And I really like summery contemporaries anyway. This, like, prompt kind of covers any of the Sarah Dessen books that I haven't read yet. So hopefully I'll get to some of these soon. So that is all the books that I have planned for my spring TBR. Like I said, I will definitely be reading a lot more books than these books specifically because of Libby and audiobooks and how things that were on hold I get and that sort of thing. It's kind of hard to control what books you get on Libby, just considering you have to check them out and stuff. We'll see what happens with those. But I'm hoping to get to some of these more spring reads because I am ready for that spring weather. It was trying to be spring here for about a week. It was like super nice in like the 60s and the 70s, and then it snowed on like Friday. And I'm like, why? Like, just make up your mind, Nebraska. But yeah, I am definitely ready for springtime, and I want to read all the spring contemporaries that my heart desires to get me in the mode for spring and summer. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please consider giving it a like and also consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a new video. I post new videos on Fridays at 5 p.m. Central Time. And if you want to follow me on social media, all my links are in the description box down below as always. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!